Hey guys, so I'm gonna try to make this as quick as possible, and I don't like to make video blogs unless whenever I'm vlogging, is that correct usage? Okay, vlogging about is important to me. And so I just like to share with you the experience I had when I saw Enron on Broadway this past weekend. Enron was a play that lasted 16 performances as of Sunday about the Enron scandal. It's doing really well in London and didn't do so well here. Um, So basically, with Enron, I um, am moving to New Jersey really soon, and this past weekend, I had wanted to go to New York and have my last visit in New Jersey before moving there to investigate housing, my house situation, all that stuff. One of the shows I wanted to see was Enron, but it wasn't like immediate. But since I'm such a flop fanatic and I found out that it was closing, I was like, oh my god, gotta see it. I have to say that of any of the other shows that I would have wanted to see, I'm really glad that I saw this one and not because it flopped. Um, Although that's part of the reason why I'm really glad that I got to see it because it was on such a. I mean, I saw it the day before it closed, so I mean, not too many people can say that they went. It was kind of a rare opportunity for a lot of people. But Enron was a really good play. I mean, I'm not gonna look you straight in the eye and try to sell it to you and be like, Enron was the best thing I've ever seen. But it was really good. It was. I mean, if we were rating it, I'd say probably about 3.5 stars, probably. Um, First of all, everyone in the cast gave like amazing performances. You could all tell that they really were doing their hardest, were working their hardest, and that they didn't want the show to close. In fact, when I saw all of them afterwards, all of them seemed really remorseful that the show was closing, and of course, they showered them with compliments and totally queened out, as Kathy Griffin would say. Um, and they were all really grateful, especially Norbert Leo Butz, who I've seen in the original cast of Wicked and in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and this performance by far was the best out of all of them. Um, Basically, the show is about the Enron scandal. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically back in 2001, 1990 something until 2001, like late 90s, 2001. Is basically this company that was a gas and oil company, and they were trying to, really kind of get with the times and have this new virtual system called market to market, where they'd be exchanging stocks and such online by getting more of a profit. It would be like quicker, I guess. But the problem was that there was no profits actually coming in from those stocks. So Enron was actually getting no money. In fact, they were losing money by just giving out shares of the company and it not really going anywhere. So they would make up imaginary companies to put all this debt to. And I think the way the play kind of portrayed it, it was kind of a it seemed to be a temporary solution to temporary problems. They hope that this would have to be a temporary thing that would last like maybe a year at most. Then all the debt would be gone and they'd be fine. That wasn't the case. They had to keep it up for a while, and they kept really wanting to go into buying other companies and merging with other corporations, and it just got into this whole greedy um, just mess, and they didn't want to give it up because they were so focused on getting that money. And I think that the characters were not portrayed in a negative or positive light, really just what they were, to be honest. I don't think the show was really un-American, as a lot of people said. Just because it was written by a British author doesn't mean that the show was like aiming to kick America in the balls. I think Jeffrey Skilling and everyone else involved, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't remember the exact characters' names. I think originally they had good intentions, just solve the problem right now and we'll get through it and we'll be fine. And it's that American dream of we're starting a corporation and we want to get money and we want to do good. However, the doing good decreased and the making money increased, or those goals fluctuated. So I think that there was a lot of really interesting symbolism too. That's kind of also what kind of made the play even more interesting is that while it was a blend of what you already knew, or adults, what you already knew, it also kind of gave in like symbolism for these like made up banking accounts and stuff, which were like these velociraptors, and then they had like laser lifesavers for the California energy crisis, and the account when the accountant was a puppet, and just fun stuff like that. And there was some really great satire in there. But overall, I feel like if Enron had been, if it was a different story, but it was an allegory for the Enron company, it might have done a lot better. Although I think that would have been really hard to write. Or I think if Enron had just been off Broadway for a year, the show could have been scaled down set wise. Could have done it off Broadway. I mean, the thing was is that it was an off Broadway show that got a Broadway venue. And it's not to say that Enron is a bad show. It's a really great show, actually. It has some flaws. I mean, the whole symbolism worked out to an extent, to where I think it kind of distracted from the actual story itself. But there were some really touching moments in there, like when the economist was saying, she gives this monologue about, how she says, a lot of people ask me, how could I not know about Enron? But it's like, no one knew. It's like you get onto a plane, you don't know how it works, but I mean, it's going to get you to your destination, right? It's just the belief that it's going to get you where you need to go. You're not going to just stand up in the middle of a plane and be like, I don't know how this works. I need to get off. And I mean, planes don't run on the belief that you just think they're going to run. They just, it takes work and it takes effort, and I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what she says. And then afterwards there's like a September 11th montage, and then then I mean September 11th kind of really uncovered Enron for what it was. And actually, watching this play made me really realize that I really dislike Clinton more than I already did, for letting this happen. I mean, there were always questions asked. It always seemed too good to be true, but I don't think we want to realize it. Enron is really interesting in that it kind of is the play itself kind of took a snapshot at one of America's worst corporate failures ever, if it is the worst corporate failure ever, which it very well might be. Um, and I think also to open up a play, which is such a snapshot of how of our economic failures in the middle of a recession, like no one wanted to see it. And I think people were really sensitive towards it and be like, oh, it's criticizing America. It wasn't. It was telling you how it is. And the fact is, the show was too real. It was good though, and I wish that it could last longer. Signing off now. Alright, leave a comment. You know what to do.